Hi everyone. So the United States has signed and sealed its $717 billion defense budget for the year, which, as I've said there in the title, is insane. And I'm going to just try and touch on why it's insane in this video. People are outraged about this. Independent media are outraged about it. People in America I know that I've spoken to are outraged about it. You know, Flint still hasn't got clean water, but they'll pass this for more war. CNN were outraged about it. Strangely, they were absolutely apoplectic. Jake Tapper was throwing a right wobbler. Not because of the size of the budget, but because Trump didn't actually say John McCain's name in the John McCain defense bill. Saying, oh, you know, he can't even say anything good. People were saying he can't even say anything good about John McCain, and John McCain is dying of brain cancer. Well, to those people, I will say this, and I did say it on Twitter. I don't care if John McCain is dying from that virus that killed those people horribly in the film Outbreak. I still wouldn't say anything nice about that warmonger. Less said about that, the better. This is an offence bill, though. It's not a defence bill. $717 billion, that's without the dark money. Most people say it's more like $1.2 trillion. Lee Camper's done a great expose by, I've forgotten the guy's name now, an independent investigative journalist who found that there was a $21 trillion black hole in the Pentagon budget. And he found that out by going through the Department of Defence's own press releases. They've rectified that, though, now the Department of Defense have, because now they're redacting all the figures on the, on the press releases they put out. And no kidding, that's what they're doing. This is what China does. Instead, though, they spend their money elsewhere, which is why their budget, I think, is 120 million. Or 120 billion, rather. Hypervelocity missile breakthrough makes China the world leader in new weaponry. This is from last year. There's been a couple of tests on these that have been successful. China has successfully conducted flight tests of the production model of what is called the DF-17 ballistic missile. What makes this missile different to other ballistic missiles is that it is designed to carry what is known as the hypersonic glide vehicle. Quote, hypersonic missiles are a new class of threat because they are capable of both maneuvering and of flying faster than 5,000 kilometers an hour, which would enable such missiles to penetrate most missile defenses and to further compress the timeline for response by a nation under attack, a recent report from international affairs think tank RAND Corporation warns. It continues, the gliders are finely engineered, arrow-shaped craft capable of carrying nuclear or conventional warheads at incredible speeds. They travel so fast through the atmosphere greater than 5,000 kilometers an hour, they must be built to withstand temperatures that would melt meteors and must be engineered perfectly to avoid tumbling wildly out of control. I think it was Lee Stranahan or Garland Nixon that actually, put me onto this. They said that if one of these missiles actually hit an aircraft carrier, even without the warhead, people are saying that it would just rip the aircraft carrier apart because they travel so fast. Just the ballistic, and the temperature of it, it'd be like firing a bomb at it, even without a warhead. And that's what China do. China spend their money on defensive weapons. America spend their money on offensive weapons. It continues, but not only can they travel unbelievably fast, they may also be able to guide themselves towards an intended target. This renders almost all current missile defense systems obsolete. This is why you see this graph. United States are spending, more than the next 10 countries combined. Actually, if you include the DIAC money, it's more like the next 20 or 30 combined. But that's insane. 7 of those are allies, I think. And, while they're spending 250 to 350 million each on an F-35, these Chinese missiles, these HGVs, they cost $86,000 a shot and can be fired from an ordinary cannon. That's where their money goes. That's a defense budget. America, offense budget. Russia did the same thing. After World War II, Russia said there will never be another war fought in the homeland. This was after 26 or 27 million Russians died fighting the Nazis in World War II. Remember that. Next time somebody's red baiting about Russia, 26 or 27 million more Russians died in World War II than any other nation fighting the Nazis. I think 65 million people died, they estimate, in World War II, 26, 27 million of them Russians. Always remember that. And they spend their money in a similar way to China. Remember, Russia's military budget is less than what the US budget has just been increased by, which is 80 something odd billion. Russia spend like 60 or 70 billion. And you may remember this from March. This is from CNN. Putin boasts military might with an animation of Florida nuke strike. They've developed these nuclear weapons of which America has no defense against. So they've just said, right, okay, you invade us, that's it, end of the world. Game over. We're never going to have another war fought on home soil. That's defense. America with their F-35s, that's offense. Now, obviously, that's not the end of the story then, because even if you just were to include what we know is associated military spending, not in that budget, such as veterans affairs, it takes the military-related spending of the United States, get this, to 67% of the discretionary spending budget. So of all the money that America can spend on the country, 2/3 of it goes towards the military. That's just the money that they've said, yeah, this is what we're going to spend in it. Like I say, most people say it's well over $1 trillion a year they spend. And if you look at that black hole in the Pentagon budget, $21 trillion since 2000, it sort of adds up. Like I say, this is insane. The fact that CNN were more bothered about Trump not saying John McCain's name in the speech should tell you whether they're on the right side of history here. They're not. They're the propaganda machine for the military-industrial complex, and that's basically what America has now become, a giant military-industrial complex. There's no need for them to invest money in free college. There's no need for them to invest money in free college. They've got the military. You want a free education? Fine. Go and kill some people. Can have further education in our military. The worst thing about all this, of course, is America's in a bit of a state at the moment. Half of the country is poor or low income. Flint still hasn't got clean water. Their infrastructure is a grade D. This money could be spent on that. It could be spent on the infrastructure, which obviously would generate jobs. It could be spent on a Green New Deal, installing solar panels and battery banks. And again, that would create massive amounts of jobs, but much better the jobs are in the military. That's where it goes. I want to leave you with this quote. I just want to leave you with this quote because this is basically what's happening. This was Ike Eisenhower. Every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies, in the final sense, a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and not clothed. The world in arms is not spending money alone. It is spending the sweat of its labourers, the genius of its scientists, and the hopes of all its children. This has got to stop. You've got to start electing people that will stop it. And from what I can tell in my short experience looking at US politics, that doesn't mean voting for Democratic Party, because they went along with this, remember. They are resistance in name only. They're doing everything that the Republicans are doing. The tax cuts, the military, they voted for them. It's got to stop. Because the $717 billion defence budget isn't a defence budget, as I've said. It's an offence budget. And don't let anybody tell you any different. If you enjoyed this video, please click the bell down there and subscribe so you get a notification of next time I drop a video. Also, I can't do this without your help, so if you can afford it and you enjoy my videos, please support the channel by subscribing to my Patreon. Link is down there. You can do it for as little as $1 a month, and it really does help. If you can't afford it, that's fine. Please share my work and talk to other people about the issues that I bring up. Thanks very much for your support. Until next time, peace and take care.